The Presidio Trust wanted to create lodging here for a number of reasons. First, lodging is integral to the experience that people have in national parks. This is a small lodge, but it says so much about what the Presidio is about. You really feel the history here. Always this was the heart and this was the center. This was where the life was for the post. This is where the officers' club was. What's more lively than that? And of course, if you went out on the parade grounds right in front of the officers' club, that's where the drills would be held and the marching would be done and the great ceremonies would be held. This always was the place you came to for activity. So this was one of the key buildings we were looking forward to getting done, but it's a significantly difficult building to rehabilitate in the sense that it's made out of brick. It's in an earthquake zone. So we're very excited to get this done, and it looks so beautiful you can't tell that there's seismic retrofitting in it.
Pershing Hall is a stately brick Georgian Revival style building, but that means it's also an unreinforced masonry building. So the seismic reinforcing of this building was one of our bigger challenges, preserving that historic building and then integrating the structural elements that brace it adequately. The approach we took was partially traditional or conventional and partially a little more experimental. The main body of the building has been stitched together by tying all of the floor structure and roof structure to the exterior brick walls through a series of bolts that run around at every 30 inches or so, all the way around the perimeter, and through the brick walls that run through the center of the building. But these masonry piers here on the outside, they were the weakest link. Unreinforced and unsupported and unable to withstand lateral forces. And the only way we could reinforce them, because they're freestanding, was a method called center coring. You have to drill from the roof all the way down to the foundation, which is about 65 feet. So we peeled back the roof and we center cored multiple 4-inch cores from the roof down to the foundation in order to receive reinforcing and mortar fill to brace these piers. So these 4 large masonry piers carry the load of the entire front facade of the building, which is pretty substantial, up to the roof level. So this is the main lobby stair. Architecturally speaking, this is not a very fancy building, but this is the most high drama portion. It's what makes the lobby as high volume and attractive as it is. It's very gracious and it's 100% original. There's nothing been changed here other than paint colors and carpet. I wanted to talk about some of the challenges we had on this project that made it special. We had to convert a bachelor officers' quarters to a hotel, so we have a lot of acoustic separation that we've interjected into the building by separating the corridors from the rooms themselves and separating the rooms above and below by isolating the transmission of noise, suspending the ceilings, dropping them down, hiding a lot of insulation in there. All of our projects in the Presidio focus on environmentally responsible design. This building just received its LEED Gold certification. This stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And what that means is that we approach the project from the beginning and all the way through with environmentally responsible design and construction procedures and selection of materials and insulation, and use of low-flow toilets and sinks. All of our paints are green paints. All of our carpets that we use are fully recyclable carpets. We put our focus on things such as efficient mechanical systems, high-efficiency boilers, daylighting sensors, and systems that allow us to adjust and accommodate for the climate and also for the use of the building, but maintain the basic natural systems that were already in place, which includes natural ventilation, natural lighting. We rehabilitate all the windows to make them fully operable, and yet they are still single pane glass, they're non-insulated. We take advantage of what's here. We changed the original floor plan very little, with one exception. That's this area right here. This corridor did not used to connect to the stairs behind me. We cut this through so that we could tie the staff quarters, the back of the house, to the main lobby, the front of the house. Even though it's a landing level change and a transition, and we spliced it together with this existing stair so that we could get through circulation from the front to the back of the building in the center portion of the building. That required us to actually cut a hole in a wall, remove bathrooms that were here, This corridor is original, but these rooms have been changed. There were more doors along here. It was more of a dormitory style environment. And they have now been converted and made larger into guest rooms. And it's been very successful. These rooms now feel as though they're part of the main building rather than relegated to staff type rooms. So here we are in the dining room of the inn, which was the original dining room of the bachelor officers' quarters. This is my favorite space as an architect because it represents virtually all of the challenges we had to face when rehabbing the building. This room had many layers of flooring, many layers of partitions and bad taste or bad aesthetics. The corridor had been built that continued straight through, and 2 rooms had been added on either side that pretty much obscured the historic character of the space. And what we did is we peeled back those additive layers to unearth what was here before and expose it and sort of celebrate it. So the hardwood floors are the 1904 hardwood floors. Most of the trim that you see dates from the original period. It was just buried. The cast iron columns are the columns that were buried in the walls as we took the walls away. The column capitals are original. They had been concealed by new construction and we pulled that back and exposed them. We had to create a couple more that were missing, and we did some restoration of a couple of them. So this room is essentially emblematic of the entire project in that it's true to its historic character, yet modern in its implementation. It uses environmentally responsible modern materials and historic materials side by side. It integrates modern systems, and it captures the character of the bachelor officers' quarters and a modern inn simultaneously.
There are so many wonderful stories to tell about this project, but one of the things I'm most proud of was our ability to adaptively reuse a historic structure and provide our guests a truly authentic experience. Both an experience within the building in that the suites are largely the same size, shape, and configuration that the officers would have stayed in. The details remain largely the same, but also an authentic experience of place, a place-based hotel. And that I think comes through largely in our art program that's focused on the Presidio, both its history as a military outpost. It comes through in some historic photographs that we have in their original black and white condition, as well as its current environment as a national park. And that includes a series of new images focused on the natural resources we have, the wildlife, the plants, the miles and miles of trails that we offer our guest experience here in the Presidio. As an agency, the Presidio Trust is focused on programming the Presidio, and hospitality is an important component of that programming effort. So from that aspect, it was really exciting for us that we've been able to take a building that was vacant for the last several years and reactivate it and reuse it, and we'll now have thousands of guests enjoy the building and enjoy the Presidio each year.